Goblin Taco's back. I'm just going to let y'all know about a just little update of what's been going on since I put out my COVID video. So I got over that, and then I hurt my back. I was out a couple weeks for that, and then my Uncle Paul died. He was my great uncle, actually, but he felt like a kind of like a grandfather or a father figure. You know, he was really close to me, and you know, I really hate that it happened. But I knew that he got COVID like last year or year before last, and he had to go to a nursing home. And I know he probably wasn't enjoying that because he loved being with his family. And I'm just glad he's in a better place. And he was 92. And that was crazy. He was 92. So also, I'm still doing, you know, I've been doing my videos still. Trying to put out a little bit of Dying Light and whatever else I kind of felt like at the time. But I'm going to try to change that up a little bit. And I know the last video before the COVID video, I said I was going to do things a certain way, and now I'm going to change it again. So I really want to get these playthroughs that I've been doing for like, you know, over a year now. I keep saying that over and over in my videos. I want to get those done like really bad. And that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to be working on those first before I do any other of my other playthroughs. Or I'm going to be doing them in a certain order anyway. The order that I actually created the playlist or created the game playthrough. So like right now I'm going to finish Pokemon first because it's going to be a pretty quick game. And then Fallout 3, and then I think Doom, and I think South Park. Anyway, I can't remember what the exact list, but anyway, that's how I'm going to do it. And whenever I get to those certain playlists, those certain playthroughs, like the exploration playthrough, or the ones that I know are going to take a long time to do, whenever I get to those, I'm probably going to do just a couple of videos of those at a time while doing the other playthroughs, because those are just going to take so long. Same thing for the Dying Light. I'm going to put out a couple of them along with the exploration video playthrough, you know, kind of like that, because I know they're going to take a long time. So anyway, but this video is mainly for Phantasm, the Tall Man. So I had this story, kind of a movie storyline for Phantasm 6. And if any of you have never seen Phantasm or never seen any of the Phantasm movies, just go ahead and stop watching right now. Go watch them, and then come back and watch the finish the video if you want to. Or if you haven't seen them and you don't want to be spoiled on any of the things I'm going to say, then don't watch the rest of the video. Anyway, so I was really let down with how the fifth Phantasm Ravager ended. I was really hoping that they would do a really good conclusion to the story, because in Phantasm 4 we were left with such a cliffhanger. In Phantasm 5 it was basically another cliffhanger, not as good as Phantasm 4, but still. But I thought, you know, well, what if they made a Phantasm 6, and what would a good storyline be for that? And the reason why I'm telling this on my channel is because I'm pretty sure they're never going to make another Phantasm movie. The guy, Angus Scrimm, who played the Tall Man, the villain, he passed away in 2016, right before they released the Ravager, Phantasm Ravager. And, you know, nobody can take the Tall Man's place. Nobody can take Angus Scrimm's place as the Tall Man. I'm sorry. I think the only way they would ever be able to do that is if they totally rebooted the whole thing and maybe did another, you know, trilogy or however many, you know, whatever, just rebooted the whole thing. But I would give it a chance. I'm not going to say it's going to be any good, but I would give it a chance. But this kind of picks up right after the 5th movie. So just kind of have an open mind with me here. So toward the end of the 5th movie, the tall man, tells Mike and them that he doesn't really need them anymore or whatever, because he has, the ball, but actually he does. And so since the group at the end is getting in the car and they're going to go somewhere cold because the tall man can't go anywhere that's cold. So how will the tall man finally finish them off? Well, this is the first storyline. I have 2 of them actually. One of them is really simple, really short, because I didn't really get that far into the thoughts about it. But this one, the first one, is my one I really put some thought into. So anyway, so the tall man somehow kidnaps Mike, maybe with his dwarves or his gas mask people, before they get too far out. So they could be like taking a rest somewhere because, they've been driving for a while. They're all tired because they're running from the tall man in the city and they need a rest. So anyway, they kidnap Mike and they replace Mike with the gold spear that the tall man took out of Mike's head at the end of Phantasm 4. And if you remember in Phantasm 3, Jody could turn himself back and forth from the ball to his person, to his person. And person-like body, So my thoughts was, what if the tall man, how long do we really know how long that ball was in Mike's head? So if that ball was in Mike's head this whole time, it knows pretty much everything about him. How he acts, how he talks, everything about his friends, pretty much all his memories, So he leaves that ball behind to take the place of Mike to make everything seem like it's normal. And so they take Mike back to the tall man. The tall man puts his ball that's in his head from the 3rd movie, when they froze him and his gold spear came flying out of his head. He puts his spear into Mike's body because, I don't know, I was thinking maybe, even though the tall man, there is infinite tall mans, it seems like his body is aging very slowly, but it is aging. And I'm kind of thinking maybe that's because when, in Phantasm 4, when before he became the tall man, he was Jebediah Morningside, he went through the gate and came back and he was automatically the tall man. He was evil. So maybe the spear, maybe the tall man thing is the actual spear, and it just put itself into the Jebediah Morningside's body, and it slowly is, aging, but it is aging, and so he wants to try to move his self over to a new body that is younger and more healthier, and which I always thought that's kind of how it was going to go anyway. I kind of felt like that's the reason why the tall man was always chasing after Mike, because he was going to make Mike the tall man. And I think it was I want to say it was the 4th one where Mike had the whole suit on and he acted like the tall man, I kind of felt like that was kind of what was going to happen. So, because the tall man was always saying, I could show you things you've never seen before, and I could take you could go places you've never been or whatever. So, anyway. So, so now the tall man is in Mike's body, and he's going to go after the group. And so this is where the story can go in 2 different ways. And, okay. So first way is, while the tall man is taking over the real Mike's body, the fake Mike with the group could start either killing off some of the group, and they're all wondering like, where are these people missing? Why are they going missing? And what's going on? Either making them look like accidents or making their bodies disappear altogether. Or, how the tall man takes people's bodies and shrinks them down to dwarves. He can make their friends into dwarves, and then, like, toward the end, they can all, like, have to attack. They have to kill their own friends and stuff, like in the first movie where their brother was a little dwarf creature. I think they're called lurkers, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, and so, okay, what was that? And so each time one of them gets killed, and they all start kind of trying to stick together so they don't, none of them end up missing. So then the tall man shows up in real Mike's body, and the group is wondering what the heck, you know, how is there two Mikes? Well, then the fake Mike the ball turns into the spear and fights alongside the tall man, Mike, and you could have Reggie and a couple people left, or however you want to do it. But anyway, the tall man, Mike, and the other gold spear take out everybody but Reggie, and the tall man tells him that he told him his end was near in Phantasm 4. And I think in Phantasm 5, if I'm not mistaken, in that little like dream segment or something he was having. And so the tall man, Mike, puts the other gold spear into Reggie's head to take over his body, and then proceed to take over the world since his greatest foes have been defeated. And but the tall man tells Reggie before he puts the ball in his head that he thought about what Reggie said in Phantasm 5 on the rock, that he takes care of Mike through loyalty and friendship. So the tall man tells him that he is going to put Mike's spear in his head, so he'll always have his memories while the tall man uses his body for his doings, since he has use of their bodies to be able to withstand the cold. And hold on one second. Okay, sorry about that. Where was that? Okay. So then the other side of that story could go, the fake Mike could kill some of the group, just leaving Reggie and Jody behind, or he can just keep traveling with the group to keep them thinking everything is fine, but not without the tall man sending spears and dwarves and gas mask people after them before they get too far out, just to keep them busy. Then the tall man shows up in Mike's body, and the fake Mike turns back into the spear and is attacking the group with the tall man, Mike, and his army. Then a big battle takes place. The tall man, Mike, could have his dwarf spears and even the infinite tall man from the other realms that he mentioned in Phantasm 5. So the tall man get the best of the group, and the tall man, Mike, is just about to kill Reggie and the others. Then Reggie gets really sincere to the tall man, Mike, and tries talking straight to Mike that could still be in there somewhere. And the Mike comes out kinda back and forth from the tall man's voice and Mike's voice. And since the tall man is in a cold place, he seems to be weaker than he thought he would be, and Mike is able to use Reggie's friendship, loyalty, and love to push the tall man's spear out of his head. And in a hurry, Reggie shoots the spear with the 4-barrel shotgun, and it falls into the hole in the ice, and it freezes in a block. Well, then the army that was with the tall man, Mike, retreats back into their realm because the tall man's spear is not able to control them correctly. Well, then Mike goes on to tell Reggie that while the tall man's spear was in his head, he knows how they can finish him off for good. They can use the other gold spear to destroy the main gate that started it all at the home where the tall man lived before he became the tall man, before Jebediah Morningside became the tall man. So they destroy the machine, and all the other gates start disappearing. The other dimensions start collapsing just to leave the one that they're in now, permanently trapping the other tall man and dwarves and spears in their dimension. You could end it like that, or you could even end it like the fourth one, where after all that happens, like all the dimensions start tearing away, it goes back to that cut to that. I think it was like an alternate ending where it goes back to where Mike is really young and Reggie's really young and still got the ice cream van, and they get into the ice cream van, and he says, and then like they hear like the lurkers, growling noise or whatever, and then he's like, "What was that?" And I think Mike says, "I think it was just a wind. Nothing. It was just a wind." Something like that. So that's the second half to the first story. So either, the tall man wins, or Mike and Reggie and everybody else pretty much wins. I kind of honestly think that the ending where the tall man wins would be a really cool one, because I mean it is a horror movie after all, and it is Phantasm. So I kind of think it would be cool if the tall man ended up winning. But then again, you have these guys that you've been following for 5 movies now trying to kill the tall man, and to see them finally kill him would be really awesome. So the second story is really simple. When the tall man kidnaps Mike and leaves the fake Mike to stall the group from knowing that the real Mike is gone, the tall man takes Mike far away and then gets a message to the group through the fake Mike that he has the real Mike, and if they want to see him live, they have to come out of the cold area to come get them. So the group goes to rescue Mike, and the rest is up to whatever anybody else wants to, scheme up. I didn't really go into that much detail with that one because I didn't get around to doing that one. But my favorite is the first storyline, I think, where the tall man kind of wins. Really the whole storyline, the either ending would be really cool. Now, I don't know how they would go about doing the tall man now that he is dead. If they did make a sequel, they could either CGI him in there, or never show his real face, kind of maybe a side shot or behind shot, and maybe where the tall man's putting his ball into the Mike's head, how would he do that if the ball's not in his head? So really, you could always have one of the dwarves or the gas mask guys put the spear into Mike's head, and then it takes control of him. So you really don't ever have to really show the tall man. Now, if you do that version of the story where Infinite Tall Man come out and they're all fighting Infinite Tall Man, they can just look like the Mike, because now he's turned over, and I guess now they all look like him. I guess you could do it like that. But anyway, I thought that was a really interesting idea. I even sent this in an email to the Phantasm website or something, email, through their email, and I never got a response on it, so I'm guessing it's probably never going to happen. But I thought it was really cool. But that's really what all this video was about, was to show y'all that, and kind of give you a brief little thing on what was going on. So, but like I said, a lot's been going on here lately, and I'm just going to say that if anybody that watches my videos, whether you're subbed or not subbed, if you are a person that believes in prayer or praying, just say a prayer for me and my family, and just say a prayer for me and my family, mainly my family, and I would really appreciate it. So, and I would be glad to say one for anybody else that needs it. And but I think that's it. That's all I wanted to say with this video, was show y'all that. And I'm kind of wanting to go back and rewatch all the Phantasm movies, so that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. So anyway,
See y'all.